From St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire, once again, Diane Sawyer, George Stephanopoulos, and WMUR-TV's Josh McKelvin.
And we welcome you back. We want to tackle more on jobs right now, and specifically the ideas the candidates have. Individual, unique ideas for creating more American jobs. Specifically, Josh, asking about what we think created the age of American energy, which was infrastructure.
Infrastructure. And we have an example of that here in New Hampshire. If you traveled up I-93 from Boston, I-93 North, you probably went over what was a widening project that's going on. We're about $350 million away from getting this project completed. And a lot of people here think that this is a very important project to get done in terms of our regional economy. So the question is, again, infrastructure. With the increasing demand on our roads and bridges and the aging roads and bridges, how committed would you be, and we'll start with you, Governor Romney, to invest not so much as a stimulus package, but a true economic growth package on our infrastructure?
Well, there are certain things that government can do to encourage an economy, and rebuilding an infrastructure that's aging is one of those. We had in my state 550 structurally deficient bridges. We've got to improve our bridges, improve our roads, improve our rail beds, improve our air transportation system in order to be competitive. But fundamentally, what happens in America that creates jobs is not government. It has its role, but by and large, it gets in the way of creating jobs. It's taxed too much. It regulates too much. It has energy policies that keep us from using our own energy. It has trade policies which too often favor people who are taking jobs away from us. And so we're going to have government change its orientation to be encouraging the private sector. And fundamentally, what makes America the most productive and the wealthiest nation, the major nations in the world, our GDP per capita, our income per person in America is 50% higher than that of the average person in Europe. Why is that? It's because of the entrepreneurial spirit of the American people, of the ability of Americans to innovate, to create. We have a nation which is based upon opportunity and merit. We draw people here who seek freedom, and these people have built enterprises that employ and that make America stronger. We have a president who has an entirely different view. He wants us to turn it into a European-style welfare state and have government take from some to give to others. That will kill the ability of America to provide for a prosperous future, to secure our freedom, and to give us the rights which would have been in our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. I believe in an America that's based upon opportunity and freedom, not President Obama's social welfare state.
Speaker Gingrich, I know you agree with Governor Romney again on his views on President Obama, but how would your plans on job creation distinguish you from Governor Romney?
Well, if you're talking about infrastructure?
Infrastructure and more broadly job creation.
But let's stick with infrastructure things, because I think it's a very big, very important topic. You cannot compete with China in the long run if you have an inferior infrastructure. You've got to move to a 21st century model. That means you got to be technologically smart, and you have to make investments. So, for example, here, the Northern Pass project ought to be buried and should be along the state right-of-way, which means you're going to use modern techniques to bring electricity from Quebec all the way down to Boston in a way that also preserves the beauty of northern New Hampshire. I would have an energy program designed to get us free from Saudi Arabia, Iran, Venezuela. 2/3 of the government revenue from that would go to debt reduction and to paying off the debt. 1/3 would go to infrastructure, which would give you the ability to have an infrastructure investment program that would actually get us back on track. And you look at places like the highways you're describing, the bridges the governor just described. If you don't have some systematic investment program, then you're not going to be able, I think, to compete with China and India.
Governor Huntsman, where's the money going to come from?
We've got to earn our way forward. There's no question about it. Governors learn how to pay the bills. In order to pay the bills, you've got to expand your economic base. And that's a problem we have in the United States right now. We read about the jobs that have ticked upward in this country, and we're all very happy about that. We're providing people more in the way of real opportunity. But think of where this country would be if during the first 2 years of Barack Obama, it would have had a different president. I would have ripped open the tax code, and I would have done what Souls recommended. I would have cleaned out all of the loopholes and the deductions that weigh down this country to the tune of $1,100 billion. We've got a corrupt tax code. So you've got to say, how are we going to pay for it? We've got to stimulate some confidence in the creative class in this country. Right now, they're sitting on their hands, and they're not going to have a more optimistic view of our direction until such time.
So you would raise the same amount of revenue as Simpson-Bowles, that Simpson-Bowles plan that was the commission appointed by President Obama. Would anybody else on the stage